Hello, everyone. Welcome to William in the Magic Box. Today on our show, we are going to have Adrian, the famous bare naked chef. Adrian is from Miami in the USA. So let's see what Adrian has to say. Enjoy the interview. So, hello, Adrian. How are you?
Hi, William. How are you?
I'm very well. Thanks so much for taking the time today for the interview. Thank you.
Well, thank you for having me. I know we tried to connect a while back, but well, here we are.
So, tell me, how is your day going so far, Adrian?
So far, so good. So far, so good. Monday, been having a busy day so far, starting the week. With working on some projects and looking forward to speaking with you. So,
Do you like
yeah,
Mondays?
I do actually. I mean, you get a little bit sad Sunday night because the week's starting, but I feel like it's every week you get a new energy and sort of new sort of excitement about the week and sort of like a reset. So I
And
do
where are
like
you,
Mondays. Yeah.
and where are you from, Adrian?
Originally from Toronto, Canada.
Hmm.
I grew up there. Cold most of the time. But yeah, I spent the first 20 years of my life there. Then I moved to the States. I lived in Texas for a few years, went to school there. Then I moved to New York, lived there for 16 years. And I moved to Madrid for a year. I've been all over the place. But I've landed here in Florida. So
I see. And how long have you been living in Florida?
I moved here 2016.
Hmm.
And yeah, I don't look back. I love it here. The weather's fantastic. The people are great. Everybody's happy and friendly. So yeah, I'm happy here.
And since you moved away from Toronto, do you still go back sometimes or not?
No, I don't actually, because most of my family moved to either to the States or outside of Canada. So whenever we get together, we usually get together here. But the last time I was back was about 20 years ago, and still do have family there, and friends. But if they want to see us, they come visit. They'd rather come to Florida than the opposite.
Right, Adrian, of course. I know you are, a famous chef around the world. You are a businessman, you are an entertainer. So walk me through a little bit about your career. So tell me how everything started. Walk me through a little bit.
Well, I grew up loving cooking because my family, my grandmother, my mother were excellent cooks, and our family gatherings. I'm Italian. We're always centered around food and being together, and so seeing that magic happen kind of inspired me to want to work in the food business. So luckily, my family had some restaurants growing up, and so me and my brothers, my cousins, everybody, we worked there for a number of years through school and summer vacations, just to earn a little extra money. And that was sort of how I first got my taste of working in the restaurant business. And then, when I finished school, I thought I was going to go into advertising, and that was sort of my parents' wish for me. But I realized that was sort of not working in corporate America was not my dream. So I knew I always was passionate about food. So I started working in restaurants in New York, and did that for a few years after 9/11. And then, sort of worked in that business for a little while, got a little burnt out, left. And then when I came back, decided to come back into the industry, I decided to go into catering. So I launched a catering business in 2016. At the same time when I launched the Bare Naked Chef videos on YouTube, on my YouTube channel. So I don't know, it was just all an explosion of wonderful things that happened at once. It sort of propelled my business into visibility quickly, because I got an audience within the LGBTQ community quickly, for obvious reasons. But cooking naked was not my first sort of love, I guess. And it was more of an effort to kind of get people interested in cooking.
Yeah.
get them interested in sort of, getting back into domestic life and enjoying it and seeing how it's, not just a thing we do to, to survive, but it's actually pleasurable and it's, therapeutic. And so I did that until the pandemic. The pandemic, up until that point, I had great success, and my business was building. I worked for some very important people up until that point, and then pandemic happened, and my business just basically imploded. So I had to look elsewhere, and how to earn an income. So I decided to go into creating meal plans for clients. And that sort of turned into something which I really didn't even imagine coming from, where I was before the pandemic. And it's now turned into, I've created a startup. I'm in the process of, without giving too much away, but I'm excited about it. I'm in the process of launching a meal plan system that's sort of revolutionary. I'm not going to give away my secrets, but it's really exciting, and I think it's going to be well received. I'm passionate about food and wellness, and so yeah, this is sort of the beginning of a new adventure for me.
Amazing. And the Bare Naked Chef. Tell me when the name came across. It was an idea, it was a suggestion, it was something to get attention, it was something to, something new. When was the moment when this name came along?
That's a really good question, actually, but it was, I don't know, it kind of was just always sitting, I think, in the back of my head. And then when I sort of approached a friend of mine about the project, he said, well, what is the vibe? What is the spirit of what you want to do? I said, well, I'm a bear and I'm cooking and I'm naked. He's like, well, you're the Bare Naked Chef. So I was like, yeah, I was thinking about that, but I wasn't sure if I should spell it Bear or Bare. So anyhow, that's how that started. But it kind of, it became an identity and a brand, and it had legs of its own, and kind of, took our community by storm. Surprisingly, I had no idea. I was not intended to do that. I didn't want to be, a TV or internet celebrity, and it just kind of ended up turning into that. I was grateful that happened, but it was not part of the plan.
It's interesting how sometimes those ideas like genuinely come along and suddenly people just connect with it, and things go in a direction that you're not expecting. I think that's amazing about those fresh ideas.
Yeah, I think, and also too, you have a feeling in your gut that idea is going to work, or it's something that is missing, or there's a desire or a demand for it, and then it's sort of it just kind of takes shape on its own.
Amazing. Okay, Adrian, so during the journey, I'm going to explore a little bit more about your business, about your career, and also about your life overall, okay?
Okay.
So before we start our journey within the Magic Box, I would like you to tell me something interesting about yourself, or maybe something that not many people know about you.
That's a good question. A lot of things. I think maybe I'm a little neurotic, and I guess I have OCD. So I'm constantly cleaning, even if it's not dirty. I am constantly wiping and using cleaning products to make things look and smell fresh and clean.
Wow.
It's kind of weird, but what else? I really enjoy my alone time. I spend a lot of time alone. I feel like that's sort of my creative time. That's when my ideas come. And a lot of people find that weird. Like, I'll go to a restaurant or a cafe and sit at a table and order food by myself. I don't see why people have a problem with that, but they feel like it looks desperate, it looks sad. I don't agree. I love it. I feel like I don't have an issue taking myself out to dinner.
I love that. I think spending time with our own selves, I think, is the best company sometimes can be, and you need it. I think it's healthy to be with you on your own and enjoy your own company. I think it's needed most than ever.
Absolutely, I agree. And I feel like, there's certain times when, you're going through something and you want to process it. And I feel like, having other people's energy around can be confusing to do that. So being on your own and sort of just doing things that you enjoy. I love to draw, I love to paint, I love music, so even to cooking. I mean, I'll cook just, people think I don't cook because I cook for work, but I love to cook, in my free time. It's still my therapy. It's still my me time. So,
Adrian, are you ready to go on a beautiful journey through your memories in life and share your point of views?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Welcome to William and the Magic Box. So I've got him, my best friend. Full of random fun questions. I'm just gonna play a song now just for us to relax a bit before the first question, okay?
Okay. Okay.
Let's do it. Right, so before we start the game, during the interview, if comes up a question that you don't want to talk about, some reason you don't want to answer, always can change, okay?
Okay.
First question for you is, what has been the happiest point of your life and why?
I think the happiest point of my life was, and I know I'm going to get a lot of question marks about this, but this is something personal, a journey of mine that has really changed my whole life. So I was raised Catholic, and growing up in that environment and being gay, I rejected religion for many years. I found myself, in fact, very opposed to organized religion. And I find myself in my late 40s that I've sort of come full circle, and I come back to Jesus. I'm a Christian, a born again Christian. I think that's probably been the most significant moments in my life of change and of sort of understanding the world, understanding people, understanding the universe, and that we're not just, physical beings walking around. We're actually, we have souls, and we're actually, much more than that. So,
saying that, when was the moment, without maybe saying too much personal, to be more personal, but when was the moment that you realized, okay, I think I'm going to go back to my roots. I think I'm going to connect with myself regarding God, Jesus, religion. There was something that you could share?
After, after the pandemic, after, the world started to get really heavy, it made me question a lot of things about my relationships, my life, things I was putting my energy into. And it made me kind of reprioritize a lot of things. And it also made me aware of my own mortality. I mean, I felt like, we are not, going to be here forever. And, something like a pandemic or, a war is definitely going to interrupt our journeys to happiness. So, the last couple of years, with all this change going on in my life, and sort of almost giving up on love. I felt like I gave up on love because I wasn't finding a partner that was a good match for me in terms of where I was with my, everything, spirituality, emotionally, all of those things.
Mm-hmm.
And then I feel like I just sort of slid down a path of darkness, where I just wasn't seeing the happiness, the joy that I used to feel, and then it made me kind of look inward and say, okay, well, what's missing inside? And that was the void. Was my spirituality was just, I was not practicing it. I was not, I didn't affirm that Jesus was my Lord and Savior, and so once that happened, I started to see material changes, and it was like almost instant. And you hear this story so many times from people, and you wonder, okay, what was it? And it isn't just one thing. It's just the energy, the vibration, the frequency that you're living in. It changes to where you're now open to receiving good things. And when you're stuck in that dark place and you're lost and you kind of feel like you don't have spirituality, that's when the darkness comes in. That's when, the demons start to come and attack, and because you're vulnerable. So,
Absolutely.
um, that has to be probably, and, and as a result of that, I've had, that fixed relationships in my family. I found my life partner. I have, improved my work ethics, just my general outlook on life. So it's all been positive, and I'm not ashamed of it. I know there's a lot of controversy within the gay community about religion and the church, and that once you say that you're a Christian, people automatically assume that you are a white supremacist, or you're anti-gay, or there's something wrong with you. It's actually the opposite. Because I feel like Christianity grounds you in faith, and faith is really the only thing that gets you through this life. So.
Absolutely. Totally. I totally agree with you. I think, all of us, whatever we feel connected with, whatever it brings us hope or a safe place to be, or connect with ourselves or
Exactly.
spirituality. It doesn't matter which can be. It could be religion, could be anything. You know what I mean?
Anything.
If it brings you a good path, why not? You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think it's all about respect as well, and I understand there are controversies, but if you know the person, if you see the person is going to the right direction, it's feeling happy, why not? You know what I mean? So I think
Exactly.
I got goosebumps now. I think it's
Me too.
powerful. It's
It is
powerful.
powerful, and it breaks my heart that so many of my friends and people in the community, they are just so they're so fixated on what they think that would mean in terms of their loyalty to the community if they were to embrace their faith and go forward with accepting a higher power in their lives.
Totally.
They their lives would just be so much happier, and it's sad because I owe so much to the gay community for giving me the support when I came out, being there for me,
Yeah,
showing me the history, showing me the stories, all the struggles of what, our ancestors and people before us, what they went through in order to make it safe for us to walk down the street. And I'm so grateful for that. But I feel like the LGBTQ community has sort of has been hijacked by a political agenda. And now, it's like I can't stand tall with my gay brothers and sisters because they criticize me because I'm pointing out that there are just sort of abnormalities in this sort of agenda that they're pushing. It doesn't make sense, and it's now forcing gay people to sort of jump on a bandwagon that that has nothing to do with me. You know what I mean? I love trans people. I love the trans community. I think what they have gone through is just so a lot of people don't make it to that point of where they realize that they want to go through the process of a transition. But there's so much more. It's such a complex issue
absolutely.
that there's so many factors that are involved that concern someone's health. It's not even about their spiritual condition, their emotional condition. It's the health,
Absolutely.
dangers. So
I think if you love someone, if you love a friend, if you love a family member, if you love someone, let them be, let them find their path, let them connect to whatever they feel like is right for them, and they're gonna be there.
right,
It's still the same person. That just let them go, be themselves and follow their heart.
live their life, and
Yeah,
find themselves. And everybody's journey is different. You can't cookie cutter somebody else's journey.
yeah,
And and that doesn't go without saying that there's not going to be some obstacles that come along, or that you're going to
Yeah,
encounter adversity, but that makes you stronger. And that's why I have a lot of respect for the trans community, because it takes a lot of balls to to
totally.
come forward and to be honest with the world and yourself about that. So
Absolutely. Amazing. Next question, Adrian. Let's do it. Yes, you always can join me dancing.
yeah,
Next question is, would you rather be invisible or be able to fly? And what would you do?
it's invisible or fly. Fly for sure. I always wanted to fly. Whenever, I mean, every kid wanted to fly, but I was convinced that if I ate enough chicken wings as a kid, that I would grow wings. So definitely flying over being invisible. Yeah.
Let's see now, you have the superpower of flying. You could fly anywhere in the world right now, right this moment. Where would you fly right now?
To go see my boyfriend.
Oh, where is about?
He's in Europe.
Okay. All right, so let's see that your boyfriend is watching this interview right now, and you have a
Okay.
moment.
Hey.
You have a moment, to have opportunity to say something to him. What would you say right now? He's watching.
Okay. Babe, I just want to say how much I love you and how grateful I am you put me in my life and how special you are to me. And every day I fall more in love with you because you just surprise me and reassure me that you are the one for me every single day. So I love you.
Oh, sweet, very sweet. Your kiss is flying to Europe right now.
You can feel them, I hope.
Next question, let's do it. Adrian, before the next question, being a chef, of course, it's, as you said, I believe it's a therapy, because when you are cooking, it's something about it, even though, when you cook for people, there's something about that, brings you joy. But for you, personally for you, when you are cooking, tell me, what's the feeling? What do you feel that brings you the best when you are, practicing your gift, something that you enjoy the most? Tell me the feeling.
Uh, the feeling is peace, first off. It's this being in this bubble of tranquility and peace and just and love. Because really, I mean, when you're cooking with passion and love, that's energy. That energy is flowing through your body.
Yeah.
It comes through your hands and it goes into the food that you're cooking. This is not, fairy tale speak. This is actual science. There's been studies that show if you have a glass of water, two glasses of water, let's say, one in one hand, one in the other one. You say, I love you into one glass, and you say negative things into the other one. Under a microscope, you'll see a change in the water, in the structure of the way that the molecules are moving around. And so that's evidence that when you're cooking, you're transferring that energy into the food. When I'm cooking, I'm envisioning people sitting around the table and enjoying it and just indulging and eating something that feels so good and tastes so good, but it's also good for you. And so there's this sort of cycle that happens where it's like, you see something with your eyes, then you eat it, and then once it's in your body, you've sort of completed the cycle of health, of wellness, I guess. And that's kind of what I mean, that's, very detailed, but I think that really it's a beautiful thing. I wish more people would do it. And it's just so much better cooking your own food too, because you know what you're putting in it. You're not getting any mysteries or poisonous ingredients. You're getting, exactly what's going in. So.
And the flip side, what do you find most challenging about your career as a chef?
Well, working in the restaurant business is very tough. It's a very taxing career. You work late hours, you're working in, extremely hot, sweaty conditions, people bumping into each other in a small space. It's stressful, and it drives a lot of people to do drugs and drink because it's just so much pressure. And it's something that, you can't do your whole life. I don't know how some of these chefs or people that work in kitchens are in their 50s still doing it, because it's just, it takes a lot out of you. You really have to sort of balance that stress with something else in order for you not to burn out. But that's really, I think, is an area of the food industry is huge. But that's something that I don't care to kind of go back to. I don't think I'm happy with the trajectory that I've been on. That I haven't had to go back into restaurants. I mean, if I had to, I would. But it's definitely, at this point in my life, it's not the career that is going to, at the end of the day, make me feel like I've made it.
I see. All right. Next question for you is, which question would you like to be asked?
You're asking me which question I'd like to be asked. What's my favorite thing to eat?
Yes, that was already in my mind to ask, but I'm gonna trick a little bit the question. So tell me what you like to eat the most, and tell me something that you can't eat, that you don't like to eat at all.
Okay. So I mean, I love pizza. Who doesn't love pizza? And pasta. Those are my two favorite things. If I'm feeling sad, that's what I crave. It's comforting. It's fatty, salty, all umami, all those things. What you couldn't get me to eat is, I'm not a fan of like organs, things like eyeballs, testicles, tongue. That you'd have to, I think, surprise me or not tell me that's what I was eating, because I don't think I would want to eat that.
And for your career, there was like a dish that, that for some reason it wasn't your favorite to cook, but you need to, for any reason, maybe people loved it, or maybe it was a part of your business. There was a dish that for you wasn't your favorite to cook?
Mm-hmm. Gosh. Well, I've had requests for certain things that were not necessarily of my palate. But let's see. It's a good question. Well, I was asked to make tongue once, and I refused. Yeah, just because, I mean, not only for the fact that I find it, unappetizing, but I don't know how to properly prepare it to where it would taste good. It's something you have to cook for a very, very long time and boil it and sort of break down the muscle tissue in order for it to be tender. But that's something that I'd rather not play around with.
Okay. Next question. Right, Adrian. Next question is, share with us a crazy or a fun story that happened to you when you were a child at school.
Okay, so I don't know if it was fun, but it was something that stuck out in my mind. And it was sort of like, I was obviously in grade school. I was not out of the closet. But we had to do like a reading and spelling exercise in one of my English classes. And my English teacher was this very old, sort of scary Englishman, mustache, always smelled like cigars. And it was just very mean. So it came my turn to read the word, and I read it, and I saw it the way I saw it, and I said rouge, which is like makeup, and the word was rogue, and which is spelled differently, and everybody in the class laughed, and I was like, well, what's so funny? What did I say? And the teacher was so mean, and he said, it's rogue, you idiot. And from that point on, I will never forget how to spell rogue or rouge. But it was also, me freaking out, thinking, oh my God, they're going to think I said rouge because I'm gay. So
Wow.
that was yeah, that was one moment that stuck out of my head.
Have you forgiven this teacher?
I have. I don't know if he's still alive, but yes, I have.
Oh, did you like school, Adrian, like overall?
I did. I liked some of my subjects. I liked the creative subjects. I liked, art. You know, there was extracurricular classes like woodworking and drama and stuff. So I love doing all of those things. I wasn't great at math or like physics, but I don't know. I enjoyed history. I enjoyed reading, English. I was a B student, so I wasn't like a stellar student, it, average. But I liked the creative subjects. I think that was my. I look forward to that.
Amazing. Ready for another one?
Yeah,
Right.
let's do it.
Let's do it. Next question. Before the next question, being gay, growing up as a gay boy, did you have the support of your family? It was quite hard for you. Walk me through a little bit about your experience.
So I knew I was gay at a very young age, and it wasn't sexual. It was. I just remember, thinking back as an adult, like how I knew when were the years that I sort of knew. I just knew I was different. I knew that I was looking at people differently than how my brothers looked at them, for example, So, I was probably 4 or 5 when I realized, and it was also that age when my parents realized because they noticed that I had a liking for things that were feminine. I liked to play with my mother's makeup or try her clothes on or, braid hair. It was nothing, I don't think, alarming. It was just a kid being curious, but my parents were very concerned. They, being very homophobic, so they looked into conversion therapy, which is it's a program. Usually, it's either in a religious setting or in a psychological setting, and it's basically they're gonna de-gay you. And I ended up seeing this doctor till I went off to university. So I was 17, and so what message that sends to a child who's gay is that there's something wrong with you, because now you're being taken out of school and going to a doctor. So I definitely knew something I was doing was causing my family to be concerned. And I was a smart kid. I put it together, but I was never told like you're going because we think you're gay. It was just let's just send him. So there was some trauma with that, but I didn't ever feel like a victim. I sort of just felt like a survivor. I went through it. I went through the motions, and then when I was old enough to kind of be independent, and I was over 18, and decided I was going to come out to my friends. I think I was about 21, and that was a great experience. My friends were all very supportive. I didn't have anyone sort of upset or push me aside, but it was my family that had a really hard time with it, and it was sort of like, again, came full circle. Here we were, all the years of them, my parents' money and effort to sort of try and cure me. It didn't work. So it was vindicating, but it was also a moment when I realized, wow, that was a big chunk of my life that I went through, not feeling good about myself, feeling questioning, and being hyper vigilant and always questioning my words and my behavior because I was so afraid of people detecting that I was gay. There's a lot of stress, I think, on a kid. So in my adult years, through doing a lot of therapy, a lot of group sessions, talking with other gay men, seeing what their experiences, I realized that all of us kind of go through something like that, in a certain degree, maybe not as extreme, but just the feeling of being not accepted by your family, I think, is such a damaging event on somebody, and you don't realize, how much you seek their approval.
Mm-hmm.
But it's whether you get along with them or not, whether you like them or not, you still crave that, that attention or that approval. And I never really got it. I sort of sought out, you know, other ways of trying to sort of, redeem myself, I guess, which was the wrong way to approach it, which I learned. But I love myself now. I've come such a long way of beating myself up and feeling less than and not really fully loving myself. And I feel like just this last couple of years has really allowed me the opportunity to really, kind of face a lot of those moments in my life where I questioned my worth, questioned, the people around me, if they love me or not, and then and just sort of doing the work internally and spiritually to kind of get me to a place where I realized, okay, I am a great guy. I am, I have the foundation of everything I need to live a happy, successful life. I just need to clean up some little things in order for me to, to embark on that successfully. So
I see.
that's
All
my
right.
that's my story.
Right. Next question is, who is the most influential person in your life?
Influential person. I have to say my mother, even though
Mm-hmm.
she's not here, she's no longer around. I think I realized after I lost my mom how influential she was. And how many people really loved her. How many
Wow.
people thought she was just kind, and you don't see that. You see it as when they're alive, but really you don't really appreciate it till they're gone. And that's a really valuable lesson I learned. I wish I have a little, some regrets about being closer with my mother, but my relationship with her was strained because of, my sexuality. So there was this sort of like, come close, but stay far away. But in her passing and in my grieving, I realized that, there's a lot of healing in realizing that when somebody leaves this earth, they kind of realize the truth about life. And I think, I had several mediums and clairvoyants approach me, strangers, say, I have to deliver a message from a woman. I think it's your mother from the grave. And that she wants me to tell you how sorry she was for what she
Wow.
put you through. And so, once that happens 2 times, 3 times, you realize, okay, this is real. This is, she's actually trying to send a message to me. And I realize that parents aren't perfect. Parents make mistakes, and
Absolutely.
it's a hard job to raise a child feeling fully well-adjusted and loved. Because there's so many different little factors that go on in order to make that happen. But in my forgiveness journey and my healing journey, I've realized that my mother was probably the most important source of light in my life, because she was just such a kind, loving person to so many people. So
I'm sure whatever she is right now, you answer this question right now. I'm sure it means a lot. And I'm sure somehow this message is going to get to her somehow. And I believe that, as you said, being parents, it's not an easy, journey. There are no a book say, okay, you need to follow this. I think every parent, they
right,
have their own way and they learn being parents, parenting. That's how they learn.
exactly.
And sometimes, of course, sometimes they're not prepared, or they don't know, they don't have information, they are society involved, the religion at the time, you never know. So it could be different things involved until they, but for sure they meant the best. They meant the good,
Exactly,
for sure.
exactly.
That's how I
And
say.
that sort of was the sort of ribbon that wrapped all of that up for me, was that I realized that, like, they meant well, they
Sure,
tried their best, but they
absolutely.
just, they didn't. It's not like they were trying to hurt me; they were trying to help. They just didn't know where to look. They looked in the wrong place. So.
Absolutely. 3 questions left. Let's do it.
Okay.
Right. Before the next question, for you, If you want to impress someone, yeah, let's say that you maybe before you start your relationship, if you want to impress someone, if you go on a date, or maybe it doesn't need to be a date, but it's like someone special. What would you cook? What's something that's okay? This I need to cook that because I know, the person's gonna like. Could be out of nowhere. Maybe if you don't know the person very well. And the other part of the question is, on a first date, what people should never cook? If there is anything in your opinion that people, they shouldn't cook that for any reason, through your
Oh
experience,
yeah.
is there anything?
Okay. Well, your first question is, what would I cook for somebody on a date? I'm always going to make something that's, easy on the stomach. That's not, going to make you feel tired or heavy or full or, uncomfortable. So I keep it on the lighter side. Um, Usually, like, something you want to make something that shows represents you, right? And this is something I'll recommend to anybody out there that is trying to impress a first date. Is you want to, show you want to impress the person, you want to show them your skills, but you don't want to make something that is going to be so complicated and questionable that they're going to look uncomfortable eating it. You want to make something that looks familiar, that they can recognize. So like a roast chicken, like who doesn't love roast chicken? Roast chicken is beautiful. It can be elegant. It can be, elevated, or it can be, casual. We eat it with our hands, the French eat it with their hands. So I would do something like that. That was, very sort of comforting, but familiar, but just, obviously with my skill set and my flavor profiles and everything to sort of get it to taste the way, I would love it to taste. And then something I wouldn't serve would be, something like Mexican food or something very, that's going to upset your stomach or could cause, or something that's very stinky with lots of garlic and onion. That's just not, unless you don't want to go in for a kiss with somebody and have that or have them be self-conscious, you know what I mean, of that. So
I see.
just clean, delicious, healthy food that's not too much, heavy flavors of garlic or onion. Definitely.
I can see single people right now making notes of your.
Yeah. Listen up.
Next question for you is, what season of the year you feel more connected with and why? No, sorry. What season you feel more connected with and why?
I would have to say spring. Spring first and then summer. Just because I love the warm weather. I love nature. I love flowers. I go for walks all the time for 2 hours sometimes, just to look at trees and flowers and go sit in the park. Um, but I hold on a second. Repeat the question again for me.
No, about which season you feel more connected with.
Yes. So spring. So spring, because it's about rebirth. It's about like new beginnings, and I always feel most energized in the springtime. I feel most excited to get things done and sort of create when I'm in that season. I'm not a fan of winter. I get very depressed in the winter when it's cold. That's why I moved to Florida, because it's nice here all year round. But yeah, definitely spring.
Is your birthday around the springtime or not?
It's at the end of spring, beginning of the summer. So June 1st. So it's sort of like in the middle of the year, but it's when summer is starting.
Amazing. 2 questions left. Let's do it. All right, the bare naked man is on the show. Let's do it. Next question is: Do you have a unique ability that you think no one has or you never met before?
Oh, I don't think I'm the only one that has it, but I'm definitely very intuitive. I'm very like empathic. I feel people's energies. Like when I walk in a room, I can feel, but intensely. It's not just like, a mild thing. And it's actually gotten more intense as the years go on, as I'm more aware of it. But it's, I mean, I feel it's like a blessing and a curse, because sometimes I can, have a conversation with somebody, and they're not being authentic with me, something goes off in my brain, and then I start to, look at what they're saying in a different way. So I would say just being empathic is like a gift, special gift that, I don't know. I don't talk to a lot of people about it.
And when you think about yourself, when you analyze yourself, what's the best part of being you? What do you like the most about being Adrian?
I would say the best part about being me is just I love, and I love to be kind. I love kindness. I love seeing kindness. I love experiencing kindness. I I feel like it's a quality that is lacking these days with a lot of people. I feel like it's such an easy thing. It's free. It's something that comes naturally mostly to people, but people don't use it. They don't exercise it. So, and it's gotten me into trouble because I feel like my people misinterpret my kindness for weakness. But I'm going to stand on, I'm going to die on that hill of kindness. I feel like kindness is something that needs to be celebrated, and it needs to be promoted. I think a lot of people need to really look at what kindness is and what it really means to the world. Um, so yeah, that's my answer.
Amazing. Ready for the last one?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. Last question. Right, but before the last question, Adrian, let's see. If you could put in a table 3 people, you could choose anyone in the world, anyone to cook for 3 people. Yeah, you're gonna see 3 people in your table, and you could choose anyone in the world. Who those people would be? And the second part of the question is, what would you cook for those 3 people as a starter, a main course, and a dessert? What would you serve then for these 3 people? First, tell me which those people would be. You'd love to cook for them.
I love to cook for. Let's see. Okay, well, I would love to cook for. She's one of my sort of inspirations. She's a chef here in the United States. She had a TV show. She was kind of one of the people that inspired me to go into catering and sort of really embrace the style of cooking that she does. Her name's the Barefoot Contessa. I don't know if you know her. Ina Garten. She's I sort of American classic. She's been on the Food Network. People make fun of her, but her food it just resonated with me so much. So I would have her at my table. Then I would probably invite, let's say, Madonna or Cher, just because Madonna was, obviously a very significant part in my coming out, and just being a beacon of hope for a lot of us. She definitely opened up a lot of doors and forced people to have a conversation about homosexuality. Okay, so she's my second one. My third one would be Jesus.
Okay.
Jesus. Okay.
Okay.
All right, and then so what would I cook for them?
For starter.
Our starter. I'd start with a soup, because I love to make soups.
Yeah.
I would probably do like a stracciatella soup, which is an Italian, they call it like wedding soup, or like a really delicious, rich tomato bisque. Second course would be, let's see, like a miso glazed sea bass with like a bok choy, sort of Asian. And then for dessert, I would do a tiramisu.
Amazing. Cheers.
Cheers. Buon appetito.
As you talk about Madonna, three favorite songs of Madonna, like comes to your head, the top three favorites for you.
Three favorites. Let's see. Frozen,
Huh?
um, Power of Goodbye,
Wow.
and To Have and Not to Hold.
Wow. You know, not you know not. I don't know if you know, but you know her tour is gonna end in Rio de Janeiro on Saturday. She's gonna play in Copacabana Beach,
Oh my
like in the
God.
beach. It's gonna be
Outside.
outside. It's going to
Oh
be.
wow.
They're expecting 1,000,000 and 500,000 people on the
Oh my God.
in the beach. You know, Rio de Janeiro is very famous for the fireworks, New Year's
Yes.
Eve. Rolling Stones, they played there a few years ago. Actually, I was there when they played. So imagine her, she's gonna finish her tour this Saturday now. I'm from Brazil, originally from Brazil, and
Yeah, yeah.
I was watching the news, and they were just talking about that. You know, just her
Wow.
presence there is gonna bring like
Well,
300 million reais, like the Brazilian money, just for this event. They already like the beach is already organized the stage. It's being like it's
amazing.
already a big thing. So yeah, it's gonna be. I think they want to break the record of her career. Like she never played for more than 1,500,000 people
Wow.
on the beach. So this Saturday.
Amazing. Oh, what
Wow.
an amazing. Are you going? Are you going to go?
No, I'm in London. Actually, I just find out this. Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
this
you're in
I didn't
London. That's
know.
right.
Yeah,
Okay.
I just find out this week. But actually, I was
Oh,
there
that's amazing.
2 months ago. I went for my mom's 60th birthday in Brazil,
Oh,
and we
wow.
went to
Okay.
and me and my mom we went together to Rio for 5 days. It was my gift for her. I come from Northwest for Brazil, Northwest, a state called Mato Grosso.
Okay.
And for her birthday, I took her to Rio for the first time. So
Oh, that's so sweet.
yeah, it was amazing. So yeah, I was watching the news yesterday, and Rio de
Amazing.
Janeiro is all about Madonna right now.
Well,
I,
Madonna loves Brazil. She loves
I
to go. I
know.
mean, I noticed online, like she didn't promote going to any other country like she did Brazil. I
Yeah.
guess because she knows that she's very well loved there.
So
But that's
imagine
amazing. Wow. I
one
can
million
imagine on the
five
beach.
hundred going to be
Wow.
wow the end of her tour in a big style for sure.
Have you ever seen her live in
I've
concert?
seen her twice. I've seen her the first
Yeah.
time when I was living in Portugal. I saw her the Reinvention tour. And was the first
Yes.
time I saw her. I remember I was very close. I couldn't believe. I was like, my God, this is Madonna because she's not quite short. You know what I mean? I was expecting this big woman, but I was like,
Yeah.
wow, Madonna. And the second time I saw her was in Lisbon as well, 2004, the Sweet tour, Sweets
Oh
and
yeah.
some
I went to that concert. Yeah.
sweets.
In New
So,
York.
but this one I was quite far. This one was open in an open place as well. But the Revelation tour was my introduction to Madonna, and it was very close. I couldn't believe I was like close
Oh
to
my
her.
God.
So yeah, it was
So amazing.
a moment. Yeah.
For
Last
sure.
question
For sure.
is: if you were to raise a child, what are the most important thing would you like them to learn?
Okay. Well, so this is something that I think about a lot because we want to have usually we are inspired to have children to raise them differently than our parents did, right? To give them things that they didn't
Amazing.
get us. But actually, I would give my child very similar, things that my parents gave me. So, again, teaching them kindness, teaching them, patience, uh, fairness, forgiveness, um, all of the, basic things that get a human being, through life uh, without too many problems. But I think just having a big heart and being a generous soul and sort of looking at people, not judging them, but just looking at them with compassion. You know.
Amazing. Very good. Right, so the ends yet. Let's play now the word association game. Okay, I'm going to give away some words.
Okay.
Just tell me the word that comes to your mind. Keep thinking. Let's start with money,
Dangerous.
fear,
Mm, uh, Enemy.
family,
Mm, Cornerstone.
one word. Say again.
Cornerstone.
Amazing. One word for life.
Lies
Life.
or life? Life.
Yeah.
Joy. Joy.
Love.
Everything.
Sex.
Special.
Religion.
Tricky.
Politics.
Trickier.
One word for friendship.
Beautiful.
Desire.
Your soul.
Regret.
Never.
One word for wish.
Prayer.
One word for happiness.
Love.
One word for Toronto.
My home.
One word for Canada.
My birthplace.
One word for Miami.
Loca.
One word for food.
Healing.
One word for cooking.
Sharing.
One word for Madonna.
The Queen.
One word for the bare naked chef.
I am
One word.
joyful. Joyful.
And the last one now, Jesus. One word.
Love.
Okay. Let's pretend now I'm going to meet your boyfriend for a coffee. Yeah. And I'm going to ask your boyfriend, define Adrian in one positive word and one negative word only. What your boyfriend would say.
You might say loving and like I keep things to myself. Like I don't share enough.
And if I would ask the same question to your best friend, would be the same answer?
Yeah.
Okay. I think they know you very well. Let's play now, Adrian, in the magic box, and you can ask me a question. Before you ask me the question, Adrian, for your career, tell me a moment or situation that you cooked something that went wrong. Maybe you cooked something to someone, they said, oh, I don't like it, or something that I'm expecting, something funny, if you can share that you always remember.
Gosh. I had a boss client who was very particular about things that he said he didn't like, but then it would change because he was a little older, a little bit crazy. But he told me he was very specific about him not being able to eat garlic and to not put garlic in things. Like he didn't want to see pieces of garlic. So I made something and I removed the garlic, and then when he was eating it, he said, well, this tastes funny. Did you leave something out? I said, yeah, I left the garlic out. He goes, well, why did you do that? I'm telling you, I work for some really just interesting people. They're obviously these people have a lot of money and a lot of time on their hands, but they can be a little bit,
As you said in the beginning of the interview that you love pizza and pasta, but if you could choose just one, which one would be your favorite? Food?
Pasta.
Pizza, pasta.
Pasta. Yeah.
Any favorite one or any kind of pasta?
I mean, a bucatini alla matriciana, which is my favorite probably.
I love carbonara.
And carbonara. Yeah, those are my two favorites.
I love carbonara. Right, Adrian, you can ask me a question now.
I would say, are you where you are in your life where you thought you would be 10 years ago?
Good question. Good. I love the question, Adrian. And I'll tell you something. If I would, let's say 10 years ago, through my life, I always admire people. Do you know when people, they find their path straight away? Like when they grow up, straight away, they find their way in life. So I have great friends around me that they are like that. They found their way so easily. And I always admire them. I said, my God, what is the feeling of knowing what you came to this world for? What
Hmm.
I was asking my question, and sometimes I was asking my question, saying that, I strongly believe that all of us, we can do different things in life and still feeling the best, feeling the happiest. I believe that. However, I was always asking myself, my God, what I came to this world for? And of course, I could be different things, and I, I could, I could manage well, and I would love to do things, and I still want to do things in
Right.
my life.
Yeah.
But 10 years ago, for sure, I knew, okay, I knew I would be, living abroad. I knew that I would, follow my dreams that I've always been. But however, I never thought about the magic box. I always want to do something that's, I could connect with people, I could express myself, I could do, I have my full-time job, of course. And but besides that, I never thought. I was always asking myself, what's my gift? What's something that I would love to do, and I would love to have this feeling like, okay, I came to this world for that. Guess
Hmm.
what? 2020, when the world went upside down with the COVID, I went for a run in the park. Yeah, here in England, in London, you could leave the house once a day for exercise in 2020 when the COVID started.
Okay.
One of those run, this idea came along, the magic box, and I was like, wow, that's something that meant to be for me. And I can tell you now, Adrian, I go to bed thinking about the magic box. I wake up every single morning thinking about the magic box. I travel, I go to work, I'm in the gym, I'm having shower, I'm in parties. There's always the magic box in my head, in my heart. So I can tell you, 10 years ago, I wouldn't guess, I wouldn't think about the magic box. But I can tell you right now, I meant to be doing this show because it's something about it that feeds my soul. It makes me, when you are cooking, that you feel like the best of yourself is the same feeling when I'm here connecting with people around the globe, listening to their stories, and they are sharing memories as well. This great energy right now, it's about the magic box. So, answer to your question, I knew I would be doing something that, adventures. I would be doing something that's, to make me happy. But I never thought about, doing the magic
In
box.
this platform, well, you're doing an amazing job, and I,
Thank you.
you know, I, I can tell that you love what you do, and you do get a lot of joy out of
Yeah.
getting to know people, and that's really, I mean, human connection is such a important part of life. I think that people forget that,
Yeah.
and it's important we connect and sort of be able to relate to people. And um, I don't know. I think it's a you're very lucky, man, and you're very great. You're great at what you do, and so congratulations to you for accidentally stepping into Monster
I,
Box.
I know, I know. I think it's thanks so much. Thanks for the kind words. Thanks so much for being so kind and being part of the show. And I think we meant to have this interview today. I think people cross their lives for a reason. I think everything happened in the right time, and I'm glad we
For sure.
connected. It was so nice to talk to you and get to know a little bit
Oh,
about
thank you.
your
You too,
passion,
William.
about the food, about it's great. It's great. Um, but before you go, if you can share a positive message or anything that you live by.
Just don't give up, no matter what. Do not give up. And if you're sad, you're depressed, you're having suicidal thoughts, or just reach out and talk to somebody. Somebody will listen. You know, sometimes we get into a space where we think everyone hates us and nobody wants to listen and nobody cares about us. But that's just further from the truth. There's always people out there that care that you're around and breathing and alive and happy and or sad or whatever it is. But just always know that there is somebody out there that cares about you and cares and is thinking about you and thinking about what you're doing. So don't ever take it for granted. Yeah,
Totally. Always remember you're never alone. Sometimes, as you said, sometimes we think that you are the only one going through tough times. And trust me, there are so many people facing the same time as well. And as you said, there's always someone you can reach out, there's always someone you can share, and you're never alone out there. Yeah, for sure.
exactly.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure. And I'll see you
Thank you so
sometime
much, William.
in Miami or anywhere in the world, okay? Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
Thank
Okay,
you.
take
Have a
care.
great night.
Bye-bye.
Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye. So, did you like the show? Don't forget to give a like, to share it, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to be part of the show as well, first, subscribe to our channel, and after that, just go to our website, www.williamandthemagicbox.com, and send us a request saying why would you like to be part of the show. And I see you there. Bye-bye. See you next time.